we're there.
We made it eventually.
Laura's having a few technical difficulties this week, guys.
Honestly, I don't know. Like
It
I
was
said,
me last week. It was me last week. Remember the Zoom situation?
yeah, I don't know, but I've just, don't know. Who knows? I honestly think there's a ghost or something in this house. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see. We're here. It's working.
It's all
We're
go.
on. Let's see what happens.
Huge welcome to Powwow. If you can let me know if my internet's okay, because I know it can be a bit sketchy up here. So if I start being in and out, just shout at
Let you
me.
know. We'll let
I
you
will
know.
I will jump on a different internet because it's not particularly strong. But anyway, so tonight, guys, Laura and I were chatting. We were like, oh, should we do something about like how do we finish the month strong? Like, and then we both decided that actually, no, we needed to give you something of like real value to be able to take away and to be able to implement into your business. So we came up with, I think Laura and I talk about this quite a lot, and we feel like we give you guys this information, but sporadically in our groups, like sprinkled across
Yeah.
the month. But what we really wanted to give you was like 10 actionable things that we actually do in our business, probably on the daily. Because I think a lot of people have said to me before, I would love to follow you. I've had people
Spend
say
the
this.
day.
Would love to follow you around and see how you work your business. And I honestly, the things I think that we're going to tell you are not going to be, there's not going to be anything revolutionary, anything you don't already do. But
Nah.
we're going to give you hopefully some actionable habits
Yeah.
that you literally build into your business every single day.
I saw a quote recently, and anyone that knows me knows I love a quote, and there's been a lot thrown around over the years, but it literally struck me like a lightning bolt. It was like, if somebody followed you, that's just reminded me you saying that sentence, please. If somebody followed you around for a week, would they believe that you were serious about your goals? So if somebody, obviously that's applying that to your Scentsy business. So, we've all said what we want to achieve in our Scentsy business. But if somebody actually followed you around, would they believe, like in all sincerity, that you were serious about what you've said you want to achieve? Are you actually actioning the things? And that is so true. And like we said, it's not huge, massive things that are going to grow your business. It's habits. Like, and if there's anything, this is what I said to Lisa, like before we came on the live, and I was actually having this conversation with Amy Wilson today, like, and Emma and Katrina, weirdly, in our WhatsApp, we literally talked about this before we came on, and I said, right, this is what we're training on tonight. It's the small, consistent things. It's habits. If you don't build good habits into your life and into your business, it your business is never going to grow because you're going to be all over the place. So everything in your life is built from habits.
And also, guys, when you hear all these things, you're going to be like, I feel like we've heard these things over and over again. But really, honestly,
Yeah.
we just literally eat, sleep, rinse, repeat. And I think that's really, really important for you guys to know. We say the word habit, and sometimes when I hear the word habit, I roll my eyes a little bit. And I've always been like that because I don't believe that I am a particularly habitual person. Laura is
I
like,
am a
I've
huge
spent enough time with her now to know what her daily habits are. I can tell you what time she's getting up in the morning, the minute she gets up in the morning and has
what she
opened her eyes,
does.
you know she's having a coffee. Do you know, like, but also when it comes to her business,
Mm.
when she's saying, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this, I know that she will do those things. Those things are going to be actioned in her day. Now, and I know that we have probably, I'd like to say, more time than most to spend on our Scentsy business because we do this full time. But I can tell you this now, we probably actually don't. We probably don't spend
No.
any more time on it than you guys do. If
And
anything,
actually,
it's more
it's
intentional.
it's from in the beginning. I remember when we started, we didn't have all day. And actually, it's from the habits that we built and working in our small pockets of time that built our business, and then that enabled for us to do it full time. So we didn't. I had three jobs. Lisa was a full-time teacher and teaching fitness classes. Like, we were very busy people. We are still very busy people, but I found a post that I'd written a couple of years ago, and I'm not going to read you like the whole thing, but there's a quote from a book called Brendan Burchard, which is called High Performance Habits. I was actually trying to find the book. I think it must be out in my conservatory, but it said, I just wanted to read you this quote and a small paragraph from the post I've written. If you're in Glittersparkle, you've seen this post before. Um, but it says habits. You may up until this, because I feel like this articulates what I was trying to say a minute ago, because I actually took the time to write this. This is not Chat GPT, this is me talking. Um, Habits. You may, up until this point, have associated the word habits as a word linked to bad habits, something that you had to give up, something that you had to stop because it's hard, because it's a habit. But how about flipping the script on that? You will have heard myself and countless other leaders say consistency is key. Success comes from your habits. If you listen or learn from any successful entrepreneur in any field, they will share that some success comes from not doing something once, but doing it over and over and over. Many people feel a gap in their ordinary lives and the extraordinary life they wish to have. We are what we repeatedly do. So excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. And the good news is you are in control of your habits. No one can change them but you. We can train you. Remember, you are in control. Remember that circle of control. So the question is, are your habits serving you, serving your business, your life, your goals, your dreams, and your family's future? It's all part of the bigger picture. It's all connected. And then I'm just going to read you the paragraph from the book. So it says, high performance is not strongly correlated with age, education, income, race, nationality, or gender. This means that many of the excuses we use to explain why we can't succeed are simply wrong. High performance is not achieved by a specific kind of person, but rather a specific set of practices, which I call high performance habits. Anyone can learn them regardless of your experience. So what we're trying to say is it's not going to happen overnight, but it is a skill like anything else in your business about being disciplined with your habits that you can learn. You can't just tell yourself, oh, well, I'm not that way, because you can make yourself that way.
Yeah, and I think that I'm literally one of the most wing it people you will ever meet in every aspect of my life. Like I'm one of these people that you get to like the school holidays, and some people have got set plans, they know what they're doing, what time they're getting up. I literally wing every day, like every day. And I'm very much like, just see what I'm doing today, see what people are. And then I wonder when it gets to the end of the 2 weeks, sometimes, well, we haven't done very much. And like, why I'm a bit like, sometimes I'm a bit like, everyone's doing all these things and I haven't done anything. But it's because I'm not a particularly habitual person. However, I have taught one of the biggest skills I've taught myself, which isn't in this list of 10, is to think about my business every day.
Yeah.
And I know this is it sounds like a real, like, how do you teach yourself to think about your Scentsy business? I go to bed thinking about my Scentsy business. When I'm in the shower, I'm thinking about my Scentsy business. It's always on my mind of how can I grow it bigger and better. And that, if you can teach yourself to think about your Scentsy business more, when it comes to getting PRV, finding new team members, going for incentives, all of those different things like the team incentive that we've run, all of these things will become more natural to you because it's not like suddenly you need to pick up your tools
Yeah.
to, get an order together really, really quickly. And because we've all been there where we've got to a certain point in the month and gone, oh, I'm not happy where my PRV is, or actually, I haven't hardly sold anything. I need to sit here and have a day now where I've got to message 50,000 people and I end up messaging my whole customer base in one day to get an active order. And then you're like, oh, that's it now, I'm done. And actually, if you had conditioned your brain to prioritize your Scentsy business, priority is really key when it comes to habits, to prioritize your Scentsy business on the daily, you will find your business will grow. This is where your business will grow because
You
it's
have
in your mind.
just reminded me of a sentence that Orville said somewhere. So
Well,
Orville
obviously,
Thompson,
I'm
guys.
very, very wisdomy like
I
Orville.
know you are very wisdomy, like Orville, but you've just reminded me of a sentence. I don't know if it was a leadership. He said it somewhere where we've been. And it's basically that is the difference between an entrepreneurial mindset and an employee. What you
I'm just reading Katie's comment where she said, I'm going to bed. This is where I'm going wrong. I go to bed thinking of Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. There is that.
So this is a line that Orville Thompson, I can't remember where he said it or in which keynote speech he said it, but he said that is the difference between an entrepreneurial mindset and an employee mindset. An employee mindset wants to like switch up. Like I'm not suggesting that you have to be thinking about, we're not saying you have to be thinking
Yeah.
about sense business 24/7.
Totally.
However, an entrepreneurial mindset is meaning that you're always going to be open. You're not going to be like, oh, I can't think about senses today because it's Good Friday. Like I have to be totally switched off from my business. Like that is not how an entrepreneur thinks. An entrepreneur is always open to conversation or open to ideas or thinking about this, regardless of what day of the week it is. You get to choose when you work, but that is the difference between an employee mindset where you like turn up, somebody tells you what to do, you do. If you want to be an employee, you can go get a job. And a lot of us do have jobs, and that's fine. But that's what I meant. And that's just the difference about always being open to that entrepreneurial mindset, and that is how your business is going to grow.
Yeah, so I'm not saying like you got to be thinking about. I mean, I know
No,
Lorraine messaged me today, yesterday, and said to me, Lisa, do you ever stop? And I said, I do. I take time off with my family. I take days where I'm out of the building and I'm
because it's
switched.
a habit, because you are disciplined with your boundaries. And this is the thing, like we are 100% committed to our business. However, like when I went to my mum and dad's for a couple of days, I did some stuff in the morning and then I literally did no Scentsy, did not like I was with my kids, we went to the park, we went like and then of an evening when Finley got to bed, I then picked up my business again or like replied to some messages. So it's about being disciplined. We're going to talk about discipline and be actually it's really important to put those boundaries in place. Like you
Yeah.
have to do it because otherwise you will just burn out.
Yeah. So what we've put together for you is 10 actionable things. And you can either do these like, okay, I'm going to make sure these are my non-negotiables per week. Or if you've got more time, they might be your non-negotiables per day. And you can, some of them are daily activities, some of them are what I would call more weekly activities. But it depends how fast you want your business to grow. But we felt like if you've actually got a list to work from, it makes it how much easier would it be for you to pick up your business when you've got, okay, I've got an hour today. What am I going to do that's going to intentionally bring me sales or team members or grow my business? So we thought if we give you an actionable list, and obviously there are lots of other things you can do in your business, and you might look at this list and go, hold on a minute, well, where's all the fun things? Where's all the, like, I don't know, sample making and, connecting with people in Facebook groups and stuff like that. But these are really the things that we feel that move. I hate this line, but move the
The
needle in
needle.
your business.
I
And you
knew
knew what I was
something.
going to say. And move the needle basically means that it's going to help grow your business. There's going to be actionable growth. And so many of you, when I get on a coaching call with you, will say to me, "I really want my business to grow, but I don't know where to put my focus." And this is what this list is going to give you. It's basically going to give you focus. So pens and paper at the ready. By the way, Laura, this is your pen, isn't it, that you left at mine?
Oh yeah, it is.
I found it, by the way. It's
But
down my
also what I just want to say before we actually talk about the 10 intentional habits is so having this flash sale this month was wonderful. Right? I'm not taking anything away. Like love it, love it, love it, love it. Love the momentum it brought, love the boost in PRV. But the reason, so there are people that are like over 3,000 PRV, like whether, or even if you're over your 500 for the first time or whatever number is relevant to you. The reason that they've got that high PRV is because of the work that they'd put in beforehand, that from the habits that they built, and their PRV was already. Oh, look at that, Ellis! Do you want to drive to Rayleigh and bring me one? And
well
from the
trained.
work that they continue to put in afterwards. So flash sales are brilliant, but the reason people get the big hit PRV, big PRV, is because they don't think, oh, that's it, I've got flash sale, I've stopped, or I'm hoping I need a flash sale to change my business. Flash sales are amazing, and I'm not taking anything away from them. But if you just wait for a flash sale, you're never going to have a sustainable business. It's from the habits that you've put in beforehand, and from the work that you continue to do afterwards.
Yeah,
It's an added bonus, exactly.
it is an added bonus. The flash sales should be an added bonus. My minimum non-negotiable is 2,500 every single month, no matter what, like flash sale or not flash sale. So when I look at that, I actually think my PRV is not high enough yet because if I take out what I had in the flash sale, I've got a little bit. Actually,
Yeah,
tonight would have taken me to where I should be.
yeah,
So
yeah.
okay, so number one, the first thing on your list is to speak to a new person about Scentsy every day. And now this is a really, really tough one because it's going to mean some of you need to leave your house more. Some of you are going to have to speak to somebody new at work. Some of you, it's going to be going out of your comfort zone and actually opening your mouth and telling people that you're a Scentsy consultant. Or it might be that if you don't go out very much, maybe you've got to find new places to network online. However that looks for you, it looks different for every single person. So it might be where you're asking people for referrals or when you go into the supermarket and having a chat to a random person or telling someone new in the gym. This should be something that's on your list is to speak to somebody new about Scentsy every day. And if you've got those goggles on all the time, that is going to help you grow your Scentsy business and making sure that when you leave the house, you're not Scentsy naked. So if someone says, I don't even know what Scentsy is, like, what is it? Because there are lots of people out there like that, despite what you might believe, you've got something to give them in your hand that's got your details on it, and you've got a way of taking their details as well. So it's a really, really important one. Laura is very good at this, very, very good at this.
I will talk to anyone about Scentsy anywhere. And I do. And the thing is, again, I've made it a habit without even realizing it. I'm always talking to people about Scentsy. But like Lisa just said, what is really important for you to get out of your mind is that everybody knows what Scentsy is. Everybody's got a Scent consultant. Just to give you a couple of examples, I did an event in a bar a couple of weeks ago in my local town. I've been a Scent consultant here for 8 years. And loads of people, well, probably 50% of the people that night said they'd never heard of Scentsy. Just this weekend, my neighbours, that Finley's friends with their little girl, they came over and we had a takeaway. They've never tried Scentsy. They're both from like London way. And even into the night, he was like, so what is it? Even though I talked about it, he was like, tell me, it's these what? So, and none of their family, like both their sides of the family still live like over like East London. And he was like, none of them have got it in London. Like nobody knows what this is. So that's a massive, I'm obviously thinking, right, this is a massively untapped market that I need to get into. So don't be telling yourself, oh, everybody knows about it. Don't assume everybody knows what Scentsy is. Make it an intentional thing regularly that you're speaking to people. I feel like we didn't write, carry on, Liz. I'm going to say what I was trying to say in a minute when I can get my words out.
Okay, so think about that. Think about those new people. Where are you meeting someone? If what I would big top tip for you, if you're like, right, okay, I don't know, I don't even know where to start with this. Write down all the people that this is, and this is something else. This is a good habit to plan. Write down all the people that you're going to see between now and Sunday, okay, between the next week, and think about these are all the people I'm going to see. Do all of them know about Scentsy? If there's anyone that's not, that's brilliant. They can go towards your one person a day. Or if you're seeing all people that you know, how can you ask those people for referrals? Or how then you're going to have to think bigger and better. You're going to have to be like, right, I need to get out of this bubble. I bet there are lots of you watching tonight that honestly, if I said to you, how many new people have you spoke about Scentsy in the last week, you'd probably be a big fat zero. And that honestly is the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like this month, I know that I've spoken to probably near on 50 people, and that is because I've done two WhatsApp parties but one of them had 34 people in, the other one had 14. Not all of them have bought, but we're talking 3 or 4 new customers have come from that ratio. When you think about 50 to 4 new customers, that's hard work. But what we are saying with that is look at all the new people that I'm potentially talking. Some of them knew about Scentsy, some of them never had Scentsy. So this is something you really want to add on your list. Make it an intentional thing. This will be a game changer for you, a game changer, like a business changer. Social media, this is a good place as well. Not that we want to talk about social media too much, but there are so many people out there using Instagram, TikTok, all of these different things. Start posting, start sharing.
Sorry, what I was going to say was we are giving you these things. Some of them, like we said, you might do daily, might do weekly. But when you get up in the morning, when we talk about habits, something I do without a doubt every single day, doesn't matter where I am, doesn't matter if it's the weekend, doesn't matter if it's a bank holiday, maybe not so much on holiday, but write a list of things you are going to do in that day for your Scentsy business. Things on my list are even like sort out the washing, do this, and then I write some things for my Scentsy business. Because if you then write in your list in the morning, speak to 5 new people about Scentsy, you will speak to 5 new people about Scentsy. If you almost have to like program your brain to say, because otherwise your day's just going to fritter away into the wind. Don't even know if that's a saying, but and you're not gonna do the things. So without a shadow of a doubt, every single morning I write a list. I might not get everything done on my list, but if I write 10 things on there that I'm going to do for my business and I do 5 of them, I've still done 5 actionable things for my business.
On your daily list, couldn't it? This could
Yeah.
become a list.
Yeah. And also, like Lisa just said, I never write down on my list, go and chat to people in Facebook groups. I never write those things down. I very rarely do those things.
I can't remember the last time I did that.
No.
Okay, number 2. This is one that lots of you are going to say, "Oh, I do this," but the second part of it, I know you don't. So book out your borrow bag. Okay. Now, but there's a word that's going to come with this that is intentional. I know that lots of us just thrust our borrow bag upon people, right? Okay. It happens. I've done it, been there, done it, got the t-shirt, and my borrow bags currently, one of them's out and the rest are sitting in my office. So this is something that I need to do. And I was really good at this last month. But what I did last month was I physically knew who they were going to every single week throughout the 4 weeks. So we want you to be intentional about booking out your borrow bag. That means if you've only got one bag and you're like, well, I do one bag a week, absolutely fine. But you need to know if you should be able to tell me who your borrow bag is going to for the 4 weeks in May. If you
Yeah.
don't already know that, that's something you need to put on your list. Okay. And the most important bit isn't just book out your borrow bag, it's knowing who it's going to. And something that I would recommend you start a list, whether you do it in the back of your order book, whether you buy yourself a planner or however you want to do it, have a list of who your borrow bag is going to so that you can tick people off as you do it. And you know that those people have all had the bag. And the brilliant thing of having that, it then makes you think, okay, I now know who my conversations have got to be with. So when you sit down tomorrow and you've got 10 minutes in between school pickup and coming home to do like your million and one jobs while you're sitting outside the school, you can message four people off that list to ask if they want to take your borrow bag in May or whenever. It just makes it more intentional rather than it being, okay, who hasn't had my borrow bag? Right, okay. Oh, I'm going to message Sarah today. Right, I'll quickly
Yeah.
message her on the hop. Be a little bit more intentional about it. Make list. It's a system and it will be a system that will serve you well. It really will.
Absolutely. And it's the same with booking WhatsApp parties, whatever it may be. Just it's about if you've got that 10, 15 minutes in your day and you ping out 20 messages and one person books it out that 20 messages, that one person might have a network of 40 people that you can then dial into because you were intentional with your time. We're not suggesting at all. In fact, we're completely saying the opposite. You shouldn't be spending all day like just scrolling and hoping. You need to be intentional in your pocket of time. So it's exactly the same
Okay,
with
this list should
Instagram.
take you like if you did this list every day, it should take you half an hour at
Yeah,
most. You could work your business in half an hour through this list. And you'll be like, oh my God, like you will suddenly and it will leave you more time for all the things that you love. Like if you love posting on social media, you know that these things are done. You can be like, well, I've done my intentional activities. I'm gonna go and schedule my posts because I love making posts. Whatever. You know, you've done the important bit, the bit that's important. So Laura touched on that going into number three, which is party booking
sorry,
conversation.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
It should work like that. It should work exactly the same as borrow bags. You should have a list and you should be working your way down that list. I probably need to rewrite my list. There's a document actually on the workstation that we got given at World Tour. Maybe someone can find it and
I'm gonna
stick it.
say, let me find it.
It's that document and it's got people's names you can write on it and you can tick what type of party conversation you want to have. So, if anything, fill that in with all your customers' names and then start to work your way down that list. Start to make those messages and have those messages, filling out your diary because I promise you it will make a difference. Kelly, you were part of where this training almost come from with thought process today because Kelly and I spoke in the week and we had like a bit of a coaching call over the weekend. And she
Can't
said
find
to
it.
me, I just don't know where to put my focus. And I said to her, right, okay. And then she said to me, I know I need to book parties. And I said, right, you've said it yourself. That's where you need to put your focus. Right, we're going to message five people a day. What happened? Kelly messaged five people. She messages me the next day. She's like, I've booked two parties. And I was like, it works. So if you are thinking, oh, I know in our heads we think we're messaging all the people, but when you actually write that list down and you make it a system, an
I can't find it.
actual
We'll have to find it.
system,
Yeah.
I'll have a look for it when you're talking next. It will make a difference in your business. And parties literally are a game changer, right, Laura?
Oh my God. Like this at the beginning of this month, well, actually, obviously, before this month, going into this month. So I made a decision. I was like, right, I was miles away from annual sales. I was like, I need to absolutely go for my PRV this month. I've done four WhatsApp parties. I've had one event in a bar. I've got another event next Friday afternoon. I've got another event on Sunday, and I've got another WhatsApp party on the last Monday in the month. I had none of them towards the end of the previous month. So they were all, I was like, I literally need to party. I need to be asking people to whether in-person party, WhatsApp party, can I come and rock up at your bar and stand there with my table? Whatever that looks like. The one that I'm doing on Friday was one of my customers was having a coffee afternoon for Alzheimer's and she'd asked for a raffle prize and I was like, yeah, that's amazing. I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to ask her. I was like, is there any chance I can bring my Scentsy along and I will donate a percentage of my commissions to the and she was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, please do. In fact, she was like, oh, can you make me something on Canva to advertise it? I was like, yeah, I will. So you have to be, again, just ask people. You need to ask. And when people are saying in the comments, like, I want to party, I get ghosted. I probably asked no exaggeration, to get these 4 WhatsApp parties this month, I've probably asked 100 people. Like, not even exaggerating. You are going to get ghosted. Probably 80 of them people haven't come back to me. We get ghosted a lot. You have to just understand it is part of your business. And I mean that with love and I mean that with kindness. But you have to, all these things that we're talking about is things that we do that I think people just think, oh, like, oh, you joined Scentsy, you post on social media. It's not about that. Our job is to train you on what the actual skills and habits for your business are. So you are going to get ghosted. You are going to have to ask a lot of people, but I promise you, if you ask enough people, people will say yes. You need to not get upset or offended or take it personally when people don't reply to you because it is going to happen. It's exactly the same as hearing the word no. If you're not hearing the word no, you're not working. It's just a part of your business. It's a mindset shift, like anything. Like if you've never done anything like this before, if you're new, like we want to help. We want to, obviously, there are going to be people that in the business that are going to be going for the 2,500 PRV and want to promote to director and want to do all the things. But there's going to be a lot of people in this business that want to get active every month. And these habits apply, whatever level that business looks like for you, but you still need to be doing the things. So get comfortable with hearing no, get comfortable with being ghosted. It's okay. It happens to everybody.
Yeah, it's part of what we do. You've got to
Yeah.
literally take that on the shoulders. Make your
Yeah.
shoulders a little bit wider, guys. You got this.
Like,
So,
sorry, like Katrina just said, yeah, I asked for crazy amounts for the parties that I do get. I don't pay any attention to the ghosting. That's time away from my business. And it's so true. What you
yeah,
focus on, you feed. If you focus on the people that are ghosting you, that's going to get inside you. Don't worry about it. Move on to the next. Move on to the
yeah.
next.
And Kelly just put there, incentivize as you can. Like incentivizing, I always say, I will give a free gift for people that book, and it works. It does work. The free gift. I don't tell them what because then normally it's something in my office that I've got laying around. Or like the mini fans out of the flash sale that were like £3. So if you grabbed a couple of those, perfect thing to incentivize something with. So
Claire's just said, a new customer of mine sings in a choir and they have a quiz night at the end of the month. I actually managed to pluck up enough courage to ask if I could come along and set up my Scentsy with a wee table, and they said yes.
you've got to think
Honestly,
about that, haven't you? Any opportunity where there's going to be a group of people,
yeah.
can we bring up a table? Gyms, hair salons, just ask guys. The worst they're going to say is, "Oh no," Like I asked my friend if I could bring my stuff for her charity thing, and I was going to donate all my commission, and she said, "Oh no, I've just got too much going on. It's too much to think about." And I was like, "Okay," and she's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
No, it is what it is. It's just
Exactly.
what we do.
Sometimes people are going to say yes, exactly like you've just said. I've had a table in the gym before. I still have a couple of customers now. That was in Lincolnshire. I still have a couple of customers now that order from me from doing that. So it's about, again, just thinking about where you can get yourself in front of people because we are a party plan company. That is where we originated from. That is the whole concept behind Scentsy. So yeah, you need to be thinking about regularly asking enough people so you can get your business in front of a lot of eyes or noses, as often as you can.
As you can, yeah. Okay, so the next one is opening your shop front to your customers every single day. Now, by your shop front, it can look completely different to everyone's looks slightly different. Some of you work your business on WhatsApp, just in a WhatsApp group. Some of you have a Facebook group. Some of you have a business page. Some of you have a broadcast. But ideally, every day, you should be opening your shop front in some way, shape, or form. So sometimes I don't post in my customer group till 2 o'clock in the afternoon because if I'm busy in the morning and I'm doing stuff with my kids or whatever, it may well be that I don't post until the afternoon. But that's when my shop front opens, and I might post 3 times before I go to bed at 11 o'clock that night. Or it may well be that sometimes I don't post in my customer group at all, but I've opened up my shop front by messaging in my customer WhatsApp group or chatting to my customers one to one. Like I'm sending out a broadcast to everybody. They know that I'm open. They know that no matter what, I haven't disappeared. You need to make sure that your customers don't ever think that you've stopped selling Scentsy. I have had people come to me and order from me, and then they have messaged and said, I didn't actually realize my consultant is still selling. They just put one post on a month. And I've had that before. I've had people say to me, I'm going to come and could I join your customer group? I want to be your customer because I know that you're not going anywhere. I've had people say that to me before.
Yeah.
Okay,
Same.
and it may well be. I think to myself, I know who your consultant is. They're in my team. They're in my downline. But because they don't open their shop front every day, they think that they're basically just nowhere to be seen. So if that means that you schedule a post, or is that, but I'm going to say this now. Me and Laura probably will keep banging our heads against the door with this one. Posting is not opening your shop front.
No, it isn't.
It shows that you're available and you're taking orders. But realistically, Facebook, we'll look at Laura. She can't go live on there at the minute. Her Facebook's up the Swanee at the moment. Facebook is very, very glitchy. You have got to start, really. This is something that put on your list to start. How can you open your shopfront with your customers on a one-to-one basis? How can you know that you're speaking to more people on a one-to-one basis? Because when they know, and I'm not saying that you should broadcast or message them every single day because that would just be weird. Like messaging every single customer every single day would be a little bit much. And probably they'll probably be like, do you know what? That's enough now. But making sure that your customers are on rotation of who you're messaging, who you're dropping in with. If you're not posting in your customer group, you need to make sure you're showing up in your stories. It should be somewhere. It should be lots of different platforms.
Absolutely. And what you have to think about is if how can I put this? So if Facebook closed tomorrow, would you still have a business? If Instagram closed tomorrow, would you still have a business? If, like you need to be getting customers' email addresses, contact telephone numbers. If you contact them on Snapchat, I don't use Snapchat, I'm old. But like what I mean is there's like multiple ways of running your business, and you need to be making sure that it's not just posting a picture and thinking that's working, because it's not. It's having that contact with your customers behind the scenes, because that is where your business is going to grow. And not feeling guilty if you haven't posted on Facebook till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, like Lisa said. But if you've put a post in your WhatsApp group and you've sent out an email, that is connecting with your customers. It's
Mhm.
actually really important. I have like such a I have such a love, I don't want to say love hate, I don't like that word, but such a double-edged relationship with social media, because obviously I love it and it's a huge tool within our business, but far too many people just rely on the networking, on the marketing side, and not doing the networking side of it.
And that's probably when I look at what's going on in if some I start coaching somebody and look at what's happening in their business, 9 times out of 10, they're posting, their customer groups look beautiful, but they're getting no engagement. And then I say, okay, what about let's look at how you're messaging people behind the scenes? And they're like, I'm not messaging anybody behind the scenes. Like I'm waiting for them to buy. And I can tell you this now, like Instagram I probably it's very little that is coming back from it. I might be posting and sharing and all of that jazz, but and the same as my actual mail customer group. Most of my sales are coming through one-to-one messages. It doesn't. I could probably close my customer group
Yeah,
tomorrow,
me too. I have
and
actually considered doing
I
that.
don't think it'd impact my business at
No,
all.
I,
Apart
in
from I can go
fact,
live and
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I actually have considered closing it many times, but I have so much content in there from 8 years, and then every now and again, but actual sales that I get from my customer group are minimal. I did sell one of these collections from a post in there, but everything else. So, for example, like guys, be honest on the post, and like be actually honest, because if you're never honest with yourself, if you put up a post in your customer group of like the wax collection, for example, that was coming, and somebody liked the post or loved the post, would you then go and message that person, or would you just think, oh, that's nice, they've liked the post? Because that's the difference. Would you actually reach out and message them and say, thanks for liking my post, are you interested in ordering that collection? Let us know in the comments, because if you're not doing that, that's a change that you need to change. My busy's 80% offline, 20% online. Should message, but I don't. Exactly that. Exactly that. That is why. And do not hate me for saying this, but these people that you guys that are commenting are not new consultants. So I know that you've heard us say these things before. So I did with the cure, but only because it's part of the bingo. I should do this more consistently. But okay, that's totally fine. Like but that's the reason that Scentsy incentivizes with these things. That's the reason that writing things down and seeing things in front of you, like that's not a coincidence that they've done that. They've done that so we've become more intentional.
Well, that's a good tip for you guys. Like, if you're not doing that, I mean, I don't always do that, and I used to do it regularly.
Do you think it would make people not want to like or engage as they're getting pestered? Absolutely not, Victoria. Like, absolutely not. They're engaging because they want to connect with you. And if they don't reply, that's fine as well.
If
Like,
they don't want it, they'll just say
they
no.
just say no.
It's a bit like, do you make eye contact with the guy in McDonald's? Is he gonna ask me if I want a large meal? Oh my God, I'm so scared. He's gonna
This
no,
is
it's not. You're not gonna not go back to McDonald's because he asked you if you wanted large or because
and
the
this is
server
what we're
said, do you want a
saying.
dessert?
Yeah, this is what we're saying about changing your mindset to things. That's you assuming that that is what they would think. If they do think that, maybe they're not the right customer for you. That's fine. But we should never put them assumptions in our mind. If they have liked something, if somebody has loved the amount of people that have joined from me putting up a join post, they have put a love heart on it, and I've messaged them and said like, "Thank you so much for the love on the join post. Like, are you interested in joining Scentsy?" And they're like, "Yeah, I am."
It's also the wording. It's the way you word it. It's a bit different. If you then inbox somebody straight away and went, "Hi, Victoria. Do you want that collection that I just posted?" They might be a bit like, "Oh my God." But if you're thanking somebody, showing
Yeah.
gratitude for the fact that they've interacted, I would even write, "Oh my God, thank you so much for like putting a little love on
Oh
my
yeah, yeah.
post." You wouldn't believe like how much that means to me. It means more to me than, an order, but just check. I just want to check. Did you want to place the order? You don't have to, no obligation, but did you want the collection? So it's about like put the wording out there, change your wording and just change your thought process around it. Just change your thought process, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this one's going to be easy, and we shouldn't need to touch on this one too much because this has been the focus for the whole of this month. So if you are not doing this, you've got some videos to catch up on, which is follow up with 5 people daily. I really, really hope from Flourish and Follow Up, you are realizing the importance of messaging 5 people. And it really links really well with opening your customer shop and connecting with your customers. This is something that we do on the regular. Like, I don't even think twice about messaging 5 people anymore. It just kind of naturally happens. And actually, sometimes it's just led on from conversation. Sometimes it's seeing a customer as, I don't know, one of my customers this week had put loads of horsey pictures with her and her daughter. And I was like, oh my God, Bronya, I love all the content you're putting on. And she's like, my kids keep me really busy. And it led into a conversation where she ordered a wax collection and a brick off of the back of that conversation. And that was just me messaging her about something that I see on her social media. It was a simple follow up, and I didn't even class it as a follow up until it opened up the conversation about the wax collections. So be a little bit, if you're not doing those 5 things and you don't know where to start, go back and watch the videos. I really I don't want to like elaborate on this one too much, but if you're not doing the videos, go back and do them. We're going to save them. I'm going to save them all as a guide, Laura. I think if we have them as a guide,
Yeah.
then like you can literally come back and do this monthly if you need reminding what they are, and I'll put the list up so that you can like go back to the list like every single month and be like, right, I'm going to follow up with 5 people, I'm going to follow up with 5 people, and so on. But hopefully it's giving you some ideas. But the second part of this particular point was, if you've got a team, this is the hard bit, you should be checking in with your team daily. If it's a quote, good morning, how are you, at least check in with one team member daily. If you've got a team of 5, just say morning to one of them. And it doesn't need to be anything to do with Scentsy. Just check in with them like they're human beings.
And do not, this is really important. Do not get offended if no one replies. Do not get offended if you go live and nobody comments. Do not say, oh, I don't get anything back from my team. That is not your job. Your job is to show up. The people that then want to respond, they will do it. So
Yeah.
you need to, if you are a leader in the business, you have a responsibility. Certainly not your responsibility to work your team's business, but let them know that you are there and let them know that they have that person there. So again, it's
Yeah,
about
and then
building
know
that
that you're
habit.
there as a friend, as opposed to like, I mean, I do a lot of mine in my WhatsApp group, but that's because like Laura and I have a bigger front line. So it's very difficult for us to be like, okay, I couldn't just message. If I message one person a day, we would never get through our team, right?
No.
So for us, we do use our little WhatsApp frontline groups as a way to communicate with people. And then but I also I know that like tonight, I've sent a broadcast out. So I know I've touched base with every single person in my frontline today. They would have
Um,
all got that message, hopefully. Hopefully.
daily, every day, every day.
Check in, just check in. And it doesn't, please, this is one thing do not do, right? And I have a real like bee in my bonnet about this. Never ever check in with someone and say, are you putting in an order? Okay, just don't be that person. Just literally drop in, you can drop into their inbox, have a look on their social media, be like, how are you? Has the kids gone back to school today? Keep it light and simple. Katie just asked what a broadcast is. On WhatsApp, you can go to broadcast and you can add all your customers to a broadcast as long as you've had conversation with them on WhatsApp before it will work. And you can send one message out to up to I think it's something like 1,000 people on WhatsApp in one hit.
It's like
Um,
BCC on an email, so like they won't see that it looks
I
like
want
it's
to see who
coming
you've
through.
sent it to. Yeah, yeah. It literally is that simple. Okay, number 7, sharing the join opportunity and having join
Joint conversations.
conversations. This is the one where everyone goes,
And goes,
oh, I don't do this. I don't do this. I don't do
and
this.
what we mean by that, sharing the opportunity, obviously is like sharing the kit, but sharing how Scentsy has impacted your life. That is sharing the opportunity without you realizing that you're sharing the opportunity.
And
How
that could be a
often,
reel. It could be anything, couldn't it? It doesn't have to be a post. It doesn't have to
yeah,
be, yeah. How often?
how often do you share how, Scentsy has impacted your life in some way, shape, or form? Because that is how you are going to attract people to want to become a Scentsy consultant. If people don't know the impact that Scentsy can have on their lives, how do they know if that's something that they're going to want to be involved in? How do they know that it could build their confidence? How do they know? For example, if you took a picture of this tonight or did a little video and put it on your stories and said, I was on a training this evening and, we've helped each other. Like if you don't share things like that, how do people know that they want to be a Scentsy consultant? So you need to be regularly sharing how Scentsy has impacted your life in some way, shape, or form.
And obviously, when you're doing these messages, I would recommend if you don't have a dream team list, write a dream team list. A dream team list is basically like a team of, say, you could write down 10 people that are like your absolute like dream teamies. So you might have like customers that are on that list. You might have like a girl that you know that does FM that's on that list. You might have your next door neighbor because you know they'll never join and you've asked them to join, but you're going to put them on that list anyway. I've messaged people before and gone, do you know you're on my dream team list? And they're like, what's that? And then it literally opens up a whole conversation. These also can be part of your 5 follow-ups, guys. So if you're a bit like, okay, I want to do 5 follow-ups a day, and you want to be more intentional about building a team, you could roll one conversation about joining into your 5 follow-ups. And it could be like working your way through your customer base. But for me, I actually just make the join opportunity part of my um like closeout statement, especially if somebody's ordering and they're ordering regularly with me. That is, it's just a natural, this is a really good line. I've used this quite a lot before. I'm just filling in an order form for your order. There's a box here that says, would you ever be consider joining Scentsy? And then I say to that, what do you want me to tick? Yes or no? And if they tick yes, and they say, oh, yeah, you could put me as a maybe, you know that that's not a no, and that's somebody to add to your list, and then you can work on that on another day. Could be that you've got a host kit that comes available that we talked about 2 weeks ago, and you can go back to that person and be like, I've got a host kit that's come available. I know you said you was maybe interested. It works. It does work. It really does. And I know there's lots of you that do want teams. But it's got to be the conversation. They're going to happen on one-to-one conversations. You're not going to build a team through posting about
No.
the drink kit. I'm telling you that now. You're not.
You
Not team that going to work.
No. You might put a post up and like I said, somebody might love it and then you might message them and then you have a conversation about it. That's different. But you're not again, you just have to get into people's inboxes. We don't mean cold message, we mean relationship build and attract people to the opportunity. But you need to be
Yeah,
having
don't be a cold messenger. Don't be
don't be a
that.
spammer.
We've
Um,
had many a times.
have you ever considered doing what I do? Like would you be interested in earning an additional income if they're spending a lot of money? Don't You should be offering if you want to grow a team, that is, you should be offering the opportunity as much as or more than you're offering the product. Because if they don't want to join, don't want to host a party, sell them a product. Like
Yeah.
you need to just start again, bringing it all back to like what this training has been centered around is habits. You need to make that a habit in your business. And when you actually think about it in the most simplistic form, if you're not asking people, they're never going to join. It is literally really simple. When you strip it all back, it's about simplicity. It's about going back to the Scentsy core values. But you have to make it a habit. And like Sheena said, and don't be disheartened. I have three teamies that joined 3 years after I first asked them, but they never said no. I still checked in every few months, and now they have teams of their own. Exactly that. Exactly that. I was never joining Scentsy. I said no so many times, like so many times.
I didn't. I was an anomaly, but
Yeah, you were. You just
I was
joined
an anomaly.
like that.
Okay, so this one is easy because you can all tick this one off today. Number 8 is 10 minutes of personal development a day, but with 10 minutes of action. That's the most important bit. How many of you learn stuff on trainings all the time? Then you go away and you go and do your normal job, or you go and make the dinner or something like that. And then you forget to take the action of all the things that you've just learned with all the excitement. I'm terrible for it. So I know that I love learning and filling my brain, but you need to actually physically do 10 minutes of action based on whatever you've just learned, read, watched, whatever you've just filled your brain with.
Yeah.
Um, yes, we don't want to be serial trainers. Realistically, like I'm going to be honest with you, like I know I go live quite a lot in my teen group. Me and Laura's had to have a
But
break from
I
that recently.
do. I can't at the moment, but I do.
Yeah. But it's working in your favor because I guarantee people will feel less. I always think this. Sometimes I think, oh, I've been live far too much. Because people then sometimes feel a little bit overwhelmed because there's so many lives to
Yeah.
catch up on. So actually, if you think about it, just give yourself, if you're going to go and watch a live that Laura or I have done in our teen groups, or you're watching the Flourish 5 minute videos at the moment, then don't watch anything else until you've taken 5 or 10 minutes to put into practice something from that call. So
Mm.
tonight it might be that you're like, right, I'm going to go and write that list in my diary for the next week. That's your action. That's action. Okay. And then tomorrow morning, you can start to tick those things off of that list. It might be that tomorrow you're going to pick 3 things off of this list and you write those things down and you're going to take action on them tomorrow. I would always say when you finish a call like this, try and take action with one thing that you've learned, whether that's a message that you need to send to somebody, or, making notes somewhere that you're like, right, I need to come to this tomorrow, whatever it may be.
Gemma's just said, Laura, check your phone. Honestly, I've tried everything. My app's updated. I've uninstalled. Honestly, I have tried everything that I can try. But
Probably needs me to look at it because I'm the tech
yeah,
specialist,
you're
actually.
my
I'm going to go to
IT
the gym and
department. My husband's
go and
quite
have a
good
look.
at tech, but I will get to the bottom of it in some way. I'm making it work. I've recorded stuff. I've gone live on my laptop. But yeah, and when we talk about personal development, obviously that's watching sensory training. I'm just going to talk about a bit of woo-woo personal development just really quickly because honestly, that is something that I genuinely could train on all day, every day, because I honestly believe it's been the most impactful thing in my life and in my business. But personal development doesn't always have to be, I love reading, but you can listen to an audiobook, you can listen to music, inspirational music that helps you. Like, it doesn't have to be, but you have to do what works for you. I'm going to share one thing like in my life that has had a monumental impact on my business. And I know that my life and business wouldn't run the same without it. So every single day, some people do it of an evening, like Lisa said before, they go to bed, they write some like actions, intentional actions they're going to do in their business the next day. For me, every single day, without fail, wherever I am, Lisa will tell you when she woke up at World Tour, I was sitting in the corner with my torch on my phone and my journal. Because every day
She's
I
really fun to share a room with, isn't she?
I am really fun, but I was writing in my journal in the
I'm
morning.
only joking.
But no, no. A few years ago, I read a book called The Magic, which talks about practicing gratitude. And I always have thought myself as a grateful person, but it 100% completely rewired my brain and has had like huge impact in Scentsy and in my life. And for me, that has been a massive part. So every single day when I get up, I literally take like 10, 15 minutes. I have my coffee. I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. I read some kind of paragraph from some kind of personal development book. Like I've got a whole library over there. I do want to get some new ones. It doesn't mean sometimes I will read a book, but sometimes I will literally dive into like a paragraph of something that is going to inspire me for the day because don't ask me how it works, but just it's almost like it rewires my brain for the day. One, I'm saying like things that I'm grateful for, so it puts me into a really good mindset. Two, I then read a short paragraph of something inspiring because then it sets me off for the day, and then I make my list. It literally takes me like 15 minutes, and then I do that every single day. And that is a habit that I've built into my business. So for me, that is something that works. Actually physically reading something. For you, it might be putting an audiobook or a podcast in your ears while you walk the dog or while you drive to work. It's about finding, it might be listening to like an inspiring song as you drive to work that makes you feel like absolutely powerful. It you need to find what works for you. Another thing, like when I go running, people will laugh, but one of the coaches in the gym was actually taking the mickey out of this morning. But like when I run, I listen to like Disney power ballads, like the princesses singing, because I've always loved that kind of music. I literally think I'm like Moana when I'm running.
You know
But
what they said to her in the gym this morning? She was asking them to do like some like Instagram trend with her. And one of the guys went to her, why don't you just ask the birds if they'll lift you up and spin you round like Snow White?
he was like, because you can talk to the birds, can't you? But for me, that works. Like at the moment, it's like this waiting on a wish from Snow White. Like it literally is. But that song, just like the song from Wicked, like it inspires me. Like Trina's just said, I feel all funky if I don't start with my journal. That works for her. So you need to find something in the morning, I would say, for me it works, or before you go to bed, that like sets you in the right frame of mind, whether it's to go to sleep and then you wake up thinking about it, or to start your day. Because if you don't, you almost just kind of get up and then like you must have all seen that post or read these things about like you get up, you stub your toe, then you spill your coffee, and then you just got the ump for the rest of the day. You can change that. You can change. You can rewire your brain for the day. I don't know who admin is, forgive me, but mine is worship music and daily devotional. Exactly that. Some people have loved The Secret. I personally loved the book, The Magic, The Energy Bus. So my neighbour that I was talking about that came round on Saturday, she took home my copy of The Energy Bus because I told her about it, and she was like, I need to read that book on my way to work on the train. So she's borrowed that. So some people might not feel that personal development is for them in that way, shape, or form. But honestly, I truly believe whatever you do, whether it's for your Scentsy business, for your relationships, for your marriage, for your friendships, for your health, like when you actually think about it and strip it back, if you are working on becoming a better version of yourself, like overall, that is just going to impact every area of your life. Um, my husband hates reading, his brain can't concentrate like that. Exactly. Dan listens to stuff on audio, like and um yeah, exactly. Like Lisa's there, we've both got lists in our groups. I could literally give you a list as long as my arm of books that have impacted, and I'll share some lists. But yeah, find something where, think about, grow the person.
Beach money is a great one if you want
Beach
a big
money.
yeah,
There's some that are great for
network marketing as
like
such.
your business, the business side of it. Some that are great for like personal growth, mindset, all that side of it. Like honestly, but on it just on I literally feel like I could start to vibrate when I talk about this, because when I learned that, I feel like that's when my business shifted, and that's why it's so important in my life to do it consistently, because it just impacts everything. So yeah, some kind of personal development in some way, shape, or form every day.
Okay, guys. So next one, number 9. This is probably like something that I do in my morning as soon as I get up without realizing I do it. Okay, it's just this is an ingrained habit for someone that's not habitual. Here we go. I was saying I want no habits, but what I have. So checking your news tab, dashboard. So they're the two things. So news tab, has anything new come out that I've missed? Because realistically, you shouldn't be waiting for me and Laura to post those. If
No.
something happened to Laura and I tomorrow, or and all of our leaders tomorrow, you would still need to know how to find your news tab and where to find all that information. And realistically, guys, like when you guys ask us, well, can we use host rewards for that? Or can we, oh, when that launches, what time is that coming? We have the same information as you, which is on that news tab. Okay. So if you are not checking your news tab daily, that's the first one. The second one is your dashboard, because when you go and look at your dashboard, it reminds you what your PRV is. And I know that Laura's probably looking at her dashboard like 5 times a day at the minute because she's got a goal in mind. But make it your habit to know, like if someone said to you today, what's your PRV? Like you would know that your PRV is 3,296, for example. That isn't, I don't know what mine is, but off the top of my head, but you know roughly a ballpark of where you are, because you know that if you've got your 500, then I know that I'm getting paid on my team, or for example. So if you're not checking that, and then the other places that we wrote down was to check that your SSD Facebook group, because believe it or not, Laura and I try to post something in our Facebook groups daily. that's not always going to be in like our WhatsApp image share groups or that we might not be putting in our WhatsApp groups. We try and put something in there. And sometimes we also try and put something motivational or like a bit of a here's a tip for you for the day.
Yeah.
Um, and then the last one, which is worth looking at, but please don't go down a scroll hole with this one, is the all consultant group. Which the all consultant group, or in my opinion, the one that's better, sorry, is my internet a bit sketchy.
Yeah, it's all right though.
If you're not on there, is the Scentsy family consultant page. And I love this page and I check this page daily. It's got 247,000 consultants on it. But Home Office are now doing trainings on here, like tips for like your social media on here. They're setting challenges on here like weekly. If you're like, there's consultant calls on there for new consultants. So much, there's so much at your fingertips. But there's that's sort of things that I know it sounds silly. If you want your Scentsy business to become a priority in your head, that is probably one of the big habits that will set you off for your day. So if you're not checking, I normally check my news, I normally check my dashboard in the morning and before I go to bed. Scentsy Family Consultants. It's a great group and it's open to all consultants, whatever region you're in.
Yeah. And like we said, we have a Facebook group, which is obviously we love and it's our communities and we love it. However, you've got your workstation is literally like a gold mine of information. Like I can't tell you how much information's on there. Like I still find stuff all the time and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know that was on there. Like there is always so much being added and so much to learn. And these are our tools that Scentsy give us. So don't just rely. I know it sounds like a bit of a contradiction because obviously as your leaders we want to share and we want to help, but when you become an independent consultant, I promise you, when you are like self-motivated and self-driven, it's it's a feeling of accomplishment when you find something, or because then you can help your team with that. So it's really important to become like Lee said, build it as a habit, and you become responsible for your own business. Like when I was coming up for when Lisa was coming up through the ranks, she certainly wasn't messaging me and saying like something about her workstation. She was independent and she did it herself, just as the same as, you know, my superstar director, who's Joanne Davison. There's like loads of stuff I would never have asked her. I just went and found it out myself on the workstation. So that's what you need to be. You need to be responsible for your own business and be regularly checking these things.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest things because I love it when someone comes to me and says, I've just found this on the workstation. I'm like, I didn't even know that was on there. I love it when people do that. I feel
Yeah.
like, like, or they're able to answer the questions in like your group. So, okay, the very last one, number 8 was 10 minutes of personal development, Tammy. The last one is to pluck up the courage to share an idea in your SSD group at least once a week. If you're a lead consultant and above, realistically, you should be sharing something in the team group, I would say 1 to 2 times a week.
Yeah.
Because as a leader, you need to be present. So it might well be an image that you found. It could be that you just want to share a quote and make everybody feel fluffy. It might be that you've read something in a book that you want to share, a podcast that you've listened to, and you might think it's completely irrelevant. We can tell you now there will be someone that will resonate with that in that group.
Yeah.
Someone might not comment on it, they might not say anything, and also the people that feel the most gratitude for that is me and Laura
Is us.
and Claire and Tan and Laura Bynes and all of us because we literally, yeah, we are grateful when somebody else posts
And
and
when people say like, "Do you mind?" I'm like, "No, I don't mind. Please post it. Please post it."
yeah,
Because it's and if you want to be a leader and you want to progress through the business, that is part of being a leader. And if you start to build these habits now, that it will just be something that you will do. There's no magic formula to being a leader other than like working your business, working on yourself, and then sharing that. That's another thing that comes from personal development. I'll be like listening to a podcast, reading a book, and I think, oh, I've got the amount of times I've gone live and I've gone like, right, I was reading my book this morning and this paragraph was talking about this, so I need to talk to you about this. It gives you content when you work on yourself to then share with your team, but please be sharing. Please be sharing regularly because it what would would that be like a quote or a podcast? Yeah, anything that
Anything.
has had an impact like on you, on your business, something that you've done. If you've had, if you've reached out to somebody and you've ended up booking it, whatever it may be, like sharing the community, because that is, that is what the community thrives on. And yeah, we are very grateful.
We are always grateful. And the thing is, all of these things, like I look at this list, right? We've just given you 10 really actionable tasks. I just want to like point it out there. There's no real fluff on there. There's no like go and make a Canva image. Like absolutely, you really got to think about where you're intentionally putting your time. And like posting in our team groups should be the last thing on that list of
Yeah.
priorities. And I will say that do not post in that team group until you've done those other things in a week. Because some of you, I don't mean this horribly, but like to sit in the Facebook groups and be like community when actually that's not going to make you money. That's not going to build your business. It's not going to grow your business. We are going to be very grateful for that. We're going to be very,
Yeah.
but I
And
will be more grateful and I will be more excited to see your business grow. Like
absolutely.
genuinely.
And actually, when you are working your business and doing all those other things, and then you're getting the results from it, then go share
Yeah.
and tell people how you did that, because then and this is another thing, guys, is like sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to shout myself out, I don't want to look like I'm showing off. You're not showing off. It's inspiring to people.
Yeah.
It's so important. Like I actually wrote a post on this the other day when um I actually hadn't realized this. I was tagged in it. So I was tagged as like number two in the region for PRV. And I was like, it's actually really important to feel okay with going, do you know what? I did that because actually that's going to give other people the courage to show up to share for themselves as well, because so many people in this world are like don't do things for the fear of what other people might think, and that is then almost like affirming that you should be that way, whereas actually how many people do you look at on social media or maybe in real life and you think, oh, like I want to be like them when I grow up. I still do it all the time, and like actually it's inspiring when you hear somebody talk about something that they're really passionate about and that they're really like proud of. It's really inspiring. It makes you feel like, oh, I want to go do that. So be that person, like be that light in the world. There's that image, isn't there, about like um I'll have to find the image and share it, but it's like somebody's like there's a line of people and they're all red and like having a whinge, and then that one person is yellow and they're like sunshine, and then that radiates out into the people around them. When you show up like sunshine, it like radiates on people around you and it inspires them. So be proud of like sharing your accomplishments.
Yeah. 100%. Now we're not just saying we're not gonna as we wrap this up because I'm really conscious of the time. I swear we say this every time. We've got to get better at making these like 40 minutes. Like
Yeah,
we've got to
that's
get better at this. We I really want you to think about this list isn't like the perfect, it doesn't mean like you do this list every day. Well, actually, I think if you do this list every day, if you do all those things every day, your business
your
will grow
business will boom.
100%. But I know that some of those things are going to be things that you're going to have to, build. And for now, it becomes very easy to do these things tomorrow or this week, and then we drop off. And then we need a reminder in 3 months' time when me and Laura are doing the same training again. We're saying the same things and we're having the same conversations over and over again. And the same people are saying, that's me, that's me, that's me. And if that is you and you feel like, okay, really need to do these things, this is your opportunity now. You've got 10 actionable things. Only you can take the action on these things. We can't do that for you. We've just given you all the tools. And this honestly is how we have ingrained our business to work our business over and over again. And when you start to see the results of that, you will naturally do those tasks more and more because you will get the feel good factor from the fact that you're getting the result.
And it will help you. Like when you do these things without even realizing, like I laugh, but like I always think about like even when my son was in hospital last year, I still bought a notebook in Primark and made myself a list every day of what I wanted to do when I was sitting next to a hospital bed. Because I still, when he was asleep for 4 hours or whatever, I could do whereas otherwise I would have just sat and doom scrolled my phone and felt crappy, where I wasn't. Like I was there for him when he needed me, but then he went to sleep And I worked my business because I had my little list from my little pink Primark notebook that I bought, that I still have, that I keep as a reminder that it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing, and it will make you feel better and more, I'm trying to think of the word, more driven, I guess, more, I don't know.
It's a
But
bit like the saying, isn't it? That every day you get up and make your bed. So if you've got a
yeah,
list and you can tick at least one thing off of that list every day, you will feel like you've achieved something for your business.
yeah,
And sometimes we wake up and some of you guys will have a day off of your normal job, or maybe you get a morning off or you get an hour and you think, right, I'm going to work my Scentsy business, but you don't know where to put that time.
yeah,
This should be what you can open up and be like, okay, let's get that list done first before I go and make samples, before I go and pack an order, before I go and do, I don't know, before I go and do all those things, delivering orders, no, because that's very, very important. But before I go and make a Canva document or go and make an image or go and schedule some posts, get that list, get your list, your 5 things, or you can do all 10 if you want every day. Get that done first. And then watch your business fly because you will be having real, genuine conversations. You're going to be having real, genuine, finding new people that want to join, finding new people that want to buy from you. Because we, as you say, we do those things now. When we sat down earlier to write that list, it was really hard because we were both like, well, what do we do for our business? Like, what do we actually do? It's that ingrained.
we
We
just
don't
like,
think
we
of
just do
those
it anyway.
things as
Yeah.
like habits. They're just there. They just work.
And there's that saying, isn't there? If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And I mean, like I said, I can't say this any other way than if you don't change what you're doing, your business is never going to change.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And don't be disheartened. I think that's the biggest thing. You could do this whole list and you might not get a result for the first few days, but you've just got to keep doing it. You've got to keep showing up. And if that's really not working, if the list you're doing it over and over again and you're getting nothing, reach out to me or Laura.
Yeah,
That's when you know, right, okay, I need to make a coaching call. Something's not clicking here.
yeah.
Right, ladies and gents. I hope
Okay.
you've enjoyed that. I hope you've now got an insight into what goes on in mine and Laura's brain. I bet you wish you didn't ask.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
Oh, guys, you are honestly so welcome. But also, and please understand, right? We are not perfect. We are not like, we're not claiming to have all the answers. But one thing we do know is that we are disciplined with these things. And you don't have to wait for perfect because if you wait for perfect, you'll be waiting forever. You need to take the action, and that's where it's going to come. So, honestly, you are so welcome. Our job is to help you, our job is to share with you what we do. But one thing we can't do is do it for you. So, you need to go and do it for yourselves.
Okay. And we'll
I've
see you
missed
on the next
you.
well.
Tracy, I've totally just seen you in my. You weren't in my WhatsApp. I didn't realise you were on. Oh my God, I'm going to message you.
I know. It's been a few years, but
It
you've got
has.
me
Welcome back.
Well, you're welcome back, Tracy.
Oh, amazing, guys. Right, we will. I will share this recording in the morning once my little man is back in school. Good luck getting all your kids back
Thank
to
you
school,
guys for
school
sharing
uniforms.
time with us as well. We appreciate you all. We're
Right,
so
see you soon.
appreciative. Bye.
Right, bye, bye, bye.